Me up.
Hello, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of the Not Okay, It's Okay podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
This is a place where you can check us out and hang out with us and listen to us and not be okay and have it be okay. Rashidah and I are here to offer our truth and professional mental health stuff along the way. We're going to record this, by the way, because it seems like every week I just kick it. I'm freestyling on the intro.
You are totally freestyling. I'm your sidekick.
So, no,
up.
You are my partner. So, anyway, Season 2, Episode 6. Today, we will be talking about re-emerging after COVID. Now,
it's like a horror movie.
Before I get attacked, I know COVID is not over. However, we are feeling good and getting out there.
Yeah.
And I know that I am, and hoping that you are. So we kind of just wanted to talk about the challenges that are coming up. If they haven't come up already, we want to talk about it and not warn you, but just kind of put it out there on the table that it exists and we can normalize it. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Alona.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
The super fans.
So how you doing, Rashidah?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I know we kind of briefly started kind of talking about this, last week.
Mm-hmm,
and,
yes.
Just thinking about it's almost like I was saying last week,
mm-hmm.
Being in a cave for
yes.
ever.
Right. And then, yes. So kind of the overstimulation one might feel when you move that giant boulder. I'm thinking of the Croods right now. When the whole family's inside and then you move that giant boulder out from the front and the light hits you.
Yes.
And the sounds of the outdoors and the smell. It's a feeling of being overstimulated.
Yeah. And is it safe? Can I go out there? Is it safe to go? And you're just kind of creeping slowly.
Absolutely. So, to just kind of have the conversation, right? That for me, when COVID first hit, and as you know, Rashidah and I are both on the mental health side of things, our facilities may have closed their physical doors, but we were open to our clients, to people who needed us. Just like the medical, the hospitals were inundated, so was the mental health system. So, and of course, everybody's figuring out what to do, what protocol was. I know that myself and my two partners in the Empowerment Center, Kristen and Robin, we had to come together and figure out how we're going to do this. So it was this immediate panic. How do we do this? How do we get to our clients? How do we make ourselves accessible, if not in person?
Agreed.
Right.
And then it's having to make kind of rapid decisions.
Sure.
And try to process what's going on at the same time. And then we have kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I think, we'll probably go into that a little later.
For sure.
Just how we're showing up for our kids, even though we're we have no clue.
No one knows what's going on. So that, so I just want to take it back to why we're talking about this. Rashidah and I have talked about kind of this beginning or seeing that it was going to occur. I remember when this first happened, and we were kind of in COVID, we were already working, doing telehealth. And I kept thinking, I'm wow, when this is over, whenever that's going to be, because, it wasn't really just a 2-week shutdown, as we all know.
Right.
When this is actually over, we're going to be dealing with a lot on the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
For when we're okay, when we eventually get back to, when people, there's going to be increase in depression, increase in anxiety, decrease in socialization. And how do we, we're going to have to get in front of this.
Right. I started thinking, I always think about analogies and stuff. I was thinking about it's almost like you're driving at this wonderful pace. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, a car like comes out and you have to come to this like sudden like halt, right? You were in your zone, listening to your music, you know, going about your business at your speed that you want to go, and then unbeknownst to anyone, a car speeds in front of you, and then it's just like, you know,
absolutely, screeching halt, everything stops,
and then it's like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do now? Or you know,
so most of us, myself included, went into panic mode.
Of course.
What do we do? We're being closed down for even 2 weeks. Like, I remember calling my husband, and like when it was first, you know, not before the shutdown was kind of imminent, but before that. And I was like, if you're going to Costco, grab some toilet paper, grab some water. He's like, we have. I'm like, no, grab. And that's because privately I'm a little obsessed with being a prepper. If people didn't know that about me.
I love preppers.
So, you know, it's this imminent halt. Like, we knew it was coming, and then so it happens, and we're all scrambling.
Yeah, and again, you know, thinking about mental health, you know, and how this is going to impact people on so many levels, right? And I think about like when it first started, you know, I'm working in the psychiatric emergency room, and I remember when the curfew was happening, and I worked till midnight. And driving on, you know, the highway, and it was like no cars. It was just the dark,
eerie.
It felt the eerie, dark, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I'm a what do they call them? Like, I was like, I'm gonna be pulled over, but I forget that I'm a needed employee.
Oh, right,
you know?
Sure, you were. What's the word?
What do they call?
Essential. Ming, always there for us.
Yeah, that I was
the essential worker.
The essential worker, you know, and you know, I you know, Robin, you know, we would talk about like
my partner in the Empowerment Center, one of them.
Yeah, like, you know, I was doing this whole thing afraid. We've been doing this afraid.
We've been because we took off we're not civilians, and we never will be civilians. But what we have to challenge ourselves to do in this time is, when we want to be civilians, we have to really, and by civilians, I just mean not in the mental health field. You know, we didn't have time to be civilians here.
No.
There was no, you know, none of that. There was just that emergency work that needed to get done.
Right.
And so we were doing crisis management in the hospital, outside of the hospital, in the partial care, right?
Yeah.
I was doing crisis management for my private clients who were, you know, otherwise doing great pre-COVID. And then this hits. And so we are scared. We don't know what's going to be.
Right.
And then the 2 weeks turns to 3 weeks, to 4 weeks, to months. And here we are, a year and 3 months later, right, where things are beginning. Thank goodness we have a vaccine. You know, do with it what you want. I'm not, not taking a stand on that. But the light is here. We see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So now it's, wow, we have been in our homes. We've become really comfortable in our homes. We've been working in our pajama pants. We have been, you know, just kind of making it work at home. We have not been seeing friends, not been seeing family. We haven't gone out to restaurants. When we go food shopping, it's in a mask. In the beginning, I was like double masked, gloves, spraying everything down. Like, I was going and shopping for my parents' home, my mother-in-law's home, my home, like, and whatever neighbor might have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like this, we were, I mean, and I say we because I know you were doing the same thing, you know, in that survival mode, right? So
even a cough in the office.
Oh, sure.
One cough. It was like, you know, like I was like suspicious.
Sure, because we didn't know anything, right? This novel virus, like, what does it look like, you know? So we became really comfortable at home. And I know I can say I am a homebody like the rest of them, but I really missed it. And even, you know, in the first couple of months it was okay, but like I'm a people person. I need that energetic exchange. I need to feel, I need to hug on you. I need to giggle with you. I need to eat from your plate. I need to take, you know what I mean? Like so, I think it's comfortable to say I've shared my anxiety. So clearly I was high anxiety when this was happening because I am a mom and a wife and a daughter and a friend. And so, not just the mental health piece, right?
Yeah.
So in my civilian life, I was scared. So my anxiety was through the roof. And with the stress vulnerability model we've talked about, right? Stressors go up. Well, so does my anxiety. So does my hypervigilance to survive, to be okay, to make sure other people okay. So I'm all of this stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I was definitely depressed and, not clinically depressed, but sad and worried and all of this stuff. And then my socialization was way down. And when all of my friends were Zooming and wanting to Zoom, hey, I've just been on Zoom for 25 to 30 hours this week. I can't look at another screen.
Oh, yeah.
And
having to learn that and navigate that world.
Right. So now, exactly. So here I am, stressors are up. And so my symptoms were high anxiety, feeling sad, feeling afraid, right? So now I'm just going to say I'm, no different than every other human out there. Like the anxiety in the world was high. People were sad. What about you? What were you feeling?
Oh, so many emotions, again, especially working in the hospital and, seeing, people coming in, with COVID, testing positive for COVID.
Yeah.
In the emergency room, sometimes psychiatric patients, don't have that awareness to put the mask on because they're in their, maybe psychosis or something like that. So that was just really scary. And just thinking about should I leave the hospital? Like there was that crossed my mind.
Of course.
Am I putting my family at risk by continuing to work here?
Sure.
And so wrestling with that caused a lot of anxiety and just fear every time.
Yeah.
The next, so that Sunday would be am I not feeling okay? So I was creating my symptoms, thinking I have it.
Like psychosomatic.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%.
And
no one could, because like you said, no one could cough or sneeze.
No.
If you did that, forget the good old fashioned colds, allergies, nothing.
All that stuff.
Right.
You couldn't even clear your throat without me what's going on there?
And I was like, nothing. Let me clear my throat. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. And then, we were doing this podcast and, we were just kind of taking it, step by step and feeling it out. And then, I remember, my parents being concerned that they were going to get it, oh my God, it's going to hit them. They're going to die. They're going to get it or whatever.
Very
and I
scary.
remember saying we're going to all survive this.
Ah, yes.
And still to this day, I'm like, oh, my dad is dead, so so to grieve and not really truly be able to grieve.
Well, absolutely. Your dad passed during COVID, during a time where there was no gathering.
Right.
Where, even the way we honor the loved ones that have passed has changed. You can't attend a wake or a funeral or a Shiva call or anything.
I just have a picture of him dead in the hospital.
That is so upsetting, Rashidah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And we're finally, there's going to be a memorial in June sometime.
Wow.
He died in October.
I know.
Yeah,
so that's a whole other, just thinking, I know you lost your dad, but to take it that step further and recognize, look how COVID changed our lives. The way we couldn't even memorialize people and honor them the way that we typically do in our families, right?
Right.
Wow.
And that's gonna, I'm just thinking about how that will unfold itself in the grief process.
Right.
Because there's some, I don't even know what the word is. There's something to being able to grieve with people
being able to have closure.
Yeah,
well, closure and that sense again of universality. We're all in this together. We're all hurting.
Yeah.
How can I be here for you? We're gonna get through this.
Yeah.
Dad would have wanted this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just to have like a picture, and it's just like,
oh my gosh.
it was awkward because it's just like, they're like, I would tell people like, yeah, I have a picture of my dad dead. Is that creepy? Like, because that's not,
I mean, it's certainly not the norm, but you're also talking to somebody who collects pictures of dead Victorian people and Victorian hair lockets of the dead.
So you're making me feel so much better.
That's why we together, girl.
But I held on. My phone is, I have a little jacked up phone. It's okay.
Duh, if you haven't heard that before.
Yeah, so it's pretty jacked up. And so I would always get nervous that,
you would lose the picture.
I'd lose the picture.
Uh-huh.
And
okay, have you emailed it to yourself?
I don't think that far ahead.
Well, I'm thinking for you. I will text you later. Okay, so these are some of the ways that we have all been affected. And I'm sure you guys out there have your own personal ways. We have a lot of ways that we've all been affected in common. And then we have other ways, like a passing of somebody that a parent, a loved one. So whatever it is for you, clearly we were all under stress. We continue to be under stress. We've also, and we've said this, I think, in past shows, our brains and bodies have become, we're very adaptable. We know that, but we've become accustomed to this heightened stress, and we've normalized it, but it's in no way normal. So now here we are, right on the other side. Restaurants are opening. You don't have to wear a mask outside if you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
And people are kind of like weirded out and scared and just, it's so we're talking about the re-emergence. So we're here to say that, yes, we all feel it. We're all feeling a little weird, a little gun shy, a little tentative.
Yeah.
Right? In everything. Going to a restaurant. I'm very happy to be in restaurants right now, but it is weird.
Yeah.
It is weird to go pick your friend up and go shopping with them.
Yeah, or be in the same car
exactly,
with them.
Be in the same car with them. Like, we've gotten used to being alone. We have gotten used to saying, oh, God, I wish I could see you in person, but we can't. And now we're seeing people in person, so it feels awkward, like, I don't even know how to socialize, right? There are people who have social anxiety who are really going to struggle to get back out there, right?
I think about, the addiction field and just, we were at a point where finally the rate of overdoses, from opiates was going down. Finally.
Yes.
And COVID hit.
Yes.
Finally, after like years and years of like just this that is its own pandemic.
Sure.
And then the shutdown happened and the rates are up again.
Oh, absolutely.
So many people.
Oh, of course.
Right. We know that in addiction addiction wants you to isolate, it doesn't want you to connect.
Yep.
And so a lot of the AA, NA meetings, those support groups, whether it's your spirituality, was like there was no.
Well, they had to figure it out too. AA went totally virtual, but it took time. My clients, a couple of them are members of AA or NA and struggling. Like, Hilary, where do I go? Who do I talk to? I'm like, right now, me. We book 2 appointments this week. I am your meeting.
That's awesome.
Call your sponsor, talk to them, see what they're doing. Get on a Zoom, see if your sponsor could. So everybody was scrambling. So great point with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are all the things that are going to feel weird. If they don't feel weird yet because you haven't like dipped a toe out yet, just, bear in mind that it makes sense if you feel weird. It makes sense if you feel tentative. It makes sense if you're scared. We have been living in fear for over a year.
Yeah.
And we are always, Rashidah and I are always, it's choose fear or love, fear or love. We've had no choice but to choose fear. And so getting back out there is scary, but we can do it. And just for you to kind of have that validation from us saying, hey, it makes sense that you would feel that way. But it's going to be okay. Your anxiety will eventually level off.
Yeah.
You will remember how to have a conversation with somebody. You will remember what it feels like to kind of let loose and giggle again.
Yeah, or not feel like you're in someone's space. Like,
true.
I'm so used to the 6 feet apart that it's just like, whoa, am I standing too close? Like, I don't want to,
I had the first party to go to this past weekend, yes. And it was a very small gathering of all of, not all of my close friends, but this particular friend group. And I literally jumped on every single one of them. I'm a hugger. And everybody was a hugger that day. And it was so great. It felt so good.
Yeah.
And I say it all the time. I have anxiety, just to normalize. And I was a little anxious. Like I got to the party and I hugged it out with so many people. And then I had to go sit. And I sat with my son and I gave him, I got him a plate of food, or actually my husband did. And I had to sit. I had to kind of like get grounded. I was wearing heels for the first time in I don't know how long. And I've been out of practice. Pajama pants and heels don't really go very well. So I was in heels. I didn't feel grounded. I took my shoes off like a 12-year-old girl.
Wow.
And I was walking around the party with socks on because I needed to feel my feet on the floor. That's how I need to ground down for me. So I was anxious, but I did it anyway. And it was incredible. So for those of you out there who are nervous and scared, it makes sense, but we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
There was a lot of tough decisions that had to be made during that period of time. And I know that, with, my kids and the special needs, to send them back or to not send them back, right? And then with the autism, the regression of behaviors.
Oh,
and it
absolutely.
was just like, weighing it out, like, okay, so if I send them back, then we can, it's good for them. Like they need that structure.
Sure.
And then there was that, but then like, am I exposing them? So just the hard decisions that had to be made during this period of time.
Absolutely. In this, with not knowing, nobody knew, nobody knew what was going on yet. Right. So totally scary. And also, yes, for children with special needs and also for neurotypical children, there's regression there too.
Yeah.
Not having the structure of school, not having a teacher to answer to, across the board, and we're going to, talk about that too. I mean, there's so much to talk about. All of this stuff that we're talking about here is so applicable to children. They're just little humans. We're not so little humans, and we've had more experience, and just continuing to be mindful as we talk to kids now about reemerging and letting them know that they're safe. For me personally, and this is my personal view, aside from being a therapist, just being a human mom, I was really unhappy with the way that COVID was explained to them in school. Yeah. It was very scary. It was completely age inappropriate. The way, my kid, he was scared shit. And I'm sure all kids were scared shit, but the way, and again, I don't blame anybody because everybody was doing the best they could with what they knew. And we have to have radical acceptance for the fact that it occurred and we're going to do better. Hopefully we never have to do better like this, but just, to tell your kids, to inform them age appropriately that, hey, it's okay. You're safe. You don't have to worry, because a lot of stuff was kind of put on them that should not have been. Yeah. There was a lot of weight there that should not have been. I'm seeing comments. Hi. Okay. Yes, Cheryl, I did cut my hair. Got sick of a ponytail and a bun, had to chop that off. So yes. Alona, I'm an extrovert. Who, me or Rashidah? Allison's here. She's ready. Guns out. We know. Guns a-blazing. I got you, girl. Yes, Alona, isolation is the worst for people in recovery. It is. And it has become an issue for people, just humans, being isolated and not you know, there were people that locked down alone, plenty of people.
Oh, yeah, plenty of people. And again, you know, going back to, you know, kids, like in the psychiatric emergency room, I had never seen that many kids just coming through those doors.
Oh, my goodness.
Kids that didn't even, they never had, you know, it's not like they've ever been in the emergency room before or had mental health issues. It's like their first time.
Of course.
Also, what we had found was like in the beginning of COVID, you know, DCP&P, the amount of calls that were not, you know, they're typically usually get like thousands and thousands of calls, and it was greatly reduced. They weren't getting calls. And so there was that fear of, you know, what is going on in those homes, because a lot of times we know like the, you know, maybe the parent, you know, the teachers are the ones that may like see something and report. And so.
And now these kids are locked in the home with the abuse and the neglect.
Yes. And where school was a safe place where they can get away for that time.
Absolutely. And so that was the case. So not only COVID affected, you know, we're talking mental health stuff here, of course. So addiction skyrocketed, domestic violence skyrocketed, skyrocketed, and absolutely.
They also saw that, you know, there was a rise in people looking on the internet for, you know, divorce lawyers or things of that sort.
They said divorce and babies, both way up, right? So, So, I mean, you get what we're saying. So this is basically what we just wanted to bring to the forefront. You, Hilary, are an extroverted extrovert. That's really funny that you think that.
An extrovert.
An extroverted extrovert. That's really funny. I guess so. I'll take it. I'll own it. So this is us putting it out on the table, saying if you're feeling worried, if you're feeling anxious, it's okay. So are we. And we're going to get through it, and to just put one foot in front of the other, right? Somebody said that to me today. Did you say that to me today?
I don't think so.
No, I think my partner Kristen said that to me today.
Yeah.
She said one foot in front of the other. That's what we're doing. We're all getting out there. We can't see each other's faces. You can smile. You can smile with your eyes, like Tyra Banks says, right?
Yes.
You can smile. You can still talk to people through your mask. I find comfort in singing anywhere I go. Anywhere that has music on, I will be singing, and it's fun because they don't know where because they can't see you. But then when I get too close to people, I'm like, "Yep, I'm singing," and it's fine. So
and you know, go at your pace of comfortability,
yes, absolutely.
right? You know, when there comes a point where it's like you don't need mask at all, and if you're still feeling like hesitant, that's okay.
Wear a mask.
You know, wear a mask.
Yep.
You know, instead of just pushing yourself to do what the next person's doing, and you don't feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yes, there's no rule book here, right? It's your level of comfort, just the way it was when they told us when last summer came around, like, you know, you can do this outside. You can do what makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. But just know that there are people out there to support you. Your friends will support you. There are mental health professionals that will support you.
Yeah.
And we are here to share our stories so that you guys can feel a little more comfortable feeling uncomfortable, right? Or feel a little more okay not feeling okay. I wanted to highlight, though, also some of the positives that have come out of, you know me, accentuate the positive. So, you know, there have been some positive things to come out of the pandemic and quarantine, and I just wanted to highlight a few. Some are personal, some are those gathered by my clients. So a lot of clients and myself kind of, you know, found themselves or found or rediscovered parts of themselves that have been kind of pushed down, you know, just because life, am I right?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So like we had talked about, like the creativity, that piece sometimes goes. So like for me, I rediscovered the piano. And no, I don't play every day, but I know it's there now and I can go tickle the ivories or whatever.
Yeah.
So like finding yourselves, finding interests, just finding out how you are, you know.
I've heard a lot of parents with that homeschooling thing that was happening say that they really got a handle of what their child was actually learning, you know, and whether there was things that they're like, whoa, I don't know, you know, that if this is something that's going to work for my child, and being able to advocate.
Absolutely.
You know, and so just being more, and then, you know, thank you, teachers.
I was just going to say, and on that tip, thank you to the teachers who have also have been frontline workers this entire time.
Yeah.
They have been our essential workers. They have been figuring it out, because never once have schools shut down, right? So they figured it out and did the best they could with what they knew. So yes, of course, shout out to our teachers, our educators, teaching the future of America.
Yeah.
Some people discovered that they like to be alone sometimes, right? Where they might have thought they never would like to be alone, and they were just more comfortable with people. For me, reprioritizing things in life, certain tasks,
like what?
Like commitments and tasks, and for me, saying no. You know, well, saying no is something I'm working on in therapy myself, you know, no, not being a bad word, all that stuff. And just kind of reprioritizing, like, hey, this is important to me. Wow, this time with my family feels really good. I want to make sure that even when everything opens up, that we find this time.
Yeah.
And also, you know, taking a look at our friend groups and, you know, either saying, wow, these people are my people, or saying, wow, that person's not my people. And, you know, kind of just reprioritizing there too, you know, kind of redefining maybe what a friendship is, what it is to be a part of someone's support group. I can't imagine, Allison. Oh, sorry. She's texting me right now. Allison, really? So there were some good things to come out of it. We talked about the ER.
Can I talk about some of the good things that came out of it? You know, like,
why are you asking me? This is your show.
Does anybody care about what I got out of this situation?
Rashidah, I meant to ask you, what positives did you get out of this situation?
Well, thank you, Hilary, for asking that. Why is my ear hurting? So some of the positives. I got to realize how my kids are they're really smart.
Yeah.
And have an extensive vocabulary.
Are we talking explicit vocabulary? Explicitly extensive?
Oh, explicitly extensive. And, you know, like, I'm work, right? So I don't see a lot of those conversations that they have amongst each other. So it's kind of nice to hear them fight or debate or
call each
barter.
other a-holes.
Yes. It's just like, it was just interesting because, you know,
it's another view. It's another perspective that you wouldn't normally get because you're working at home.
Right.
Dressed professionally from the top up and in pajama pants.
Oh, no, I opted to work every day in the office. Until, like, if there was something that happened in the office, I get to work from home. It was torture.
Yeah, no, it's very hard. That's the challenge of having to work from home.
Yeah, so it just kind of like, it definitely slowed me down. It definitely helped, you know, me to just kind of prioritize, you know, like, you know, I do love to work. I do enjoy what I do. But the job that's the most important to me is being a mom.
Boom. Well said. I'm so glad I asked you what you were thinking.
And also, I realized that I don't have to cook every day. I still ordered out.
Yeah, I did too.
I took the chance.
I did too.
Like every
like like a month in, I was like, "Can you please leave it by the door? Thank you." And you know, you talk through the ring, or you know, thanks. Yeah, I hear you. Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful.
So I think and again, that whole last week, you know, mom, good enough mom, and stuff like that. Like I really during this time realized how good enough I really am.
Beautiful.
You know, I got my kids through this
yes,
pandemic.
You did.
You know,
yes.
And you did as well.
I did, with the help of my hubs and my village of a family. Yeah. And we all did. So let's all take a moment to kind of recognize, you know, and say that this was really tough. It continues to be tough, but things are opening. The sun is shining.
It was 100 degrees today. Did you know that?
That is so gross. Yeah, I think that's why I was such
gross?
a bitchy mood when I got here. Ew. Because
that's vitamin D all the way.
Okay. I could do vitamin D and a nice 75 degrees. You don't have to get to hundreds. You don't have to be in the high 80s either. No. But everybody else, I don't mean to pee on your parade. So if you're enjoying it, then continue to enjoy it. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we really have to say. We don't have to beat a dead horse here. Reemerging after COVID is hard.
Dead horse.
Yeah. Reemerging is hard. If it hasn't been yet for you, wonderful. If it has, it's okay, and it will get easier. It's like getting back on a bike, right? You don't forget how to ride a bike. Just take it slow and be kind to yourself and have compassion for yourself and be understanding of others. That person who is, taking too long in the drive-through, this could be their first time out. This person who is, counting their change to pay at the register, they can be high anxiety. This might be their first time out. So let's just recognize that everyone's doing the best they can with what they know, have some radical acceptance that we cannot control other people. And
I think Cheryl put something up there.
Cheryl, I got to teach my son some life skills, and yes, like planting a garden and taking care of it, and that we can eat what we grow. Cheryl, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah. So that's another positive, right, that came out of this time spent, this unplanned pause button that was pressed on us. Great point. That's awesome. And that's something that we can continue to do, right? Find those.
And it's cool. I mean, this is kind of cool. Like, who knew that it would be okay to look like a bank robber, right? Because anytime people would wear masks, it was like you're a bank robber. And who knew that it would just be okay to just be walking up in the bank with...
Well, I mean, it's a medical grade mask versus a Ronald Reagan face. I don't know, but
it's just like interesting.
I love you. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the bowl of no shame, and who goes first?
I think me.
Yep. All right, here we go.
I don't know. Now I'm suspicious.
You go first.
Okay, this is getting a little skimpy.
That's okay. I'll put more in.
Ooh, we should have viewers add to the bowl of no shame.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can email us with bowl of no shame questions as well.
Oh, what really makes you angry, Hilary?
Oh.
Well,
what really makes me what really makes me angry? What really makes me angry is people who are not decent and not empathetic and not kind.
I see it in your face.
Yeah, that's like disdain. Like that is really, I don't understand people who can't just be kind. So that...
My shirt says be kind.
Oh my God, I really thought something just crawled on you.
Oh.
Like up your shirt. The other thing that makes me angry, was it?
Oh, it just was one thing.
No, I know, but
it wasn't.
What makes me angry also is extreme heat or humidity.
100-degree weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't take that.
Yeah, don't like it. Okay. You? What makes you angry?
What makes me angry? You think? I don't know why I thought this would be an easy question. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm working on it. Okay. What makes me angry is when someone says, we had this conversation, and it's like, no, we did not have this. Like, I know we did not have this conversation.
Oh, okay. Oh, I totally know what I'm going to say to you on the phone. I'm like, Rashidah, we had that conversation.
I know.
Yeah,
sometimes you do text me, and you're just like, did we have this conversation?
Yeah. Oh, so you telling me that I made you angry? That's fine. I could take it.
I mean, it wasn't like to the level of anger.
Like, yeah, we fucking talked about it. Sorry. Okay, next. I'll own that. If I did, I apologize. I never want to make you angry.
I moved.
Next time, say it in the moment.
It's my mess.
And don't pretend like we've been okay for 2 months. Bye. No, I'm kidding. Good. Well, I'm glad I had something to do with it. Anyway, here's my question for you. What would you change about yourself if you could?
I wish that I could focus on one task at a time.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I just don't. I have that ADHD. Well, I do have ADHD, and so just not like, for example, to like read a book. It's really hard because I get easily distracted. Sure. It was hard in college,
Wow.
You know.
But you got 2 master's degrees anyway. No big deal.
Read 100 pages. Like, really, is there pictures?
Okay.
But I wish that I was able to just, have the attention other people have. Because I would love to read a book without having to like write what I wrote down
or reread it a couple of times. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Highlight it to death. Yeah.
Okay. What would I change about myself if I could? Working on it in therapy. I wish I could put myself first once in a while.
You want to tell me more about that?
Not right now. But yeah, I'm a people pleaser. I'm a caretaker, and there are a couple of things that don't get taken care of for me. I push it to, whatever. Yeah. So that's it. That's what I would do. Working on it. Anywho, thank you for listening to us today.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow or in 3 weeks when you download us. So please, speaking of downloading, Rashidah.
Yeah, I'd love to see, like you guys, like us, on Spotify, SoundCloud, and all those other wonderful avenues. Just more likes, tell us what you liked, know, and
email us at notokayit'sokay@gmail.com for any questions, any ideas, bold, no shame, yada, yada, boobada. That's it. We will, I think, see you next week, or are we not seeing next week?
We're going to see you next week.
Yeah.
We're going to do some fine tuning.
Okay. Rashidah and I are trying to like kick up the social media stuff. So if any of you out there want to give us, let us know what we should do because, anyway.
And we're working moms.
We're working on it. We're a work in progress. That's when we started this thing. We said it's a work in progress. So we're here. We're glad you're here.
Yes.
Have a great week, y'all.
And just remember, it's okay to not be okay.
It sure is. You heard it here.
On a daily.
Deuces.
The Not Okay, It's Okay podcast includes casual conversations related to mental health, self-care, practical tips and resources, along with validation that not being okay is okay. You acknowledge and agree that the following warnings and disclaimers shall apply to all of our content.
This podcast represents the opinions of Hilary Scheer, LPC, and Rashidah Cartwright, LCADC, and their guests to the show. The information provided is for informational purposes only, and we recommend that you consult with a healthcare professional for medical or mental health advice.
The views and opinions expressed in the Not Okay, It's Okay podcast are our own and do not represent that of our places of work. Do not use our content in lieu of professional advice given by qualified medical or mental health professionals. Always seek the advice of your own medical mental health provider related to your specific medical or mental health condition prior to implementing any recommendations or suggestions from using our content.
Privacy is of great importance to us. That being said, all people, places, and scenarios mentioned in the podcast have been changed to protect patient confidentiality.